Welcome back to another video. I'm outside in the veg plot and this is a totally different start to most of our normal videos because I actually recorded some footage maybe 3 or 4, maybe even longer weeks ago now, where I opened up a new video and I was going to show you guys different things that are happening. We were just getting into autumn and then obviously our world got turned upside down by the accidents that we've just recently been through. Did a separate video on those, not going to get into them today. But needless to say, I don't want to waste that footage because I want to show you guys what was happening then. So I'm going to cut this and start the video again, and then I'll join you in just a minute, or 8 I think it is, something like that, when you've seen the original footage and show you actually where we've got to since then. Welcome back to another video. My name's Tracy and this is our smallholding adventure. We're back in the barn for the start of today's video because it's turning a lot more autumnal, a lot more wintry, and that means that we need to start thinking about bringing the outside animals inside. Now that usually starts off with the horses for the pure reason that they're making the field a complete mess, as in trashing it, and we've only got a very limited amount of land, so we like to try and avoid that at all costs. It's been that wet though, and they're obviously that big and heavy animals that it doesn't take long before it becomes a bog. So I'm in the barn because I'm going to get their stables ready for them to come in. We've been using the stables over the summer for different animals. They're not purely for the horses all year round. At the moment, now I don't know if I've already told you about this, so if not, you'll have seen on Instagram if you follow us on Instagram. But at the moment in the first stable, which is the stable that we put the big horse in, which has got the carpet in front of it if you've been here a while, we've got turkeys. So the turkeys need moving and they need to go into the stable that's got the door open there, but that's being used for other things and needs a good clean out first. And it's also got a few things stored in there out of laziness and just to get it out of our sight because it was doing our head in, to be quite honest with you. So it's time for a good tidy up. I've got so much to be getting on with, but I really need to get started with this first. So we've been getting on busy with other things this morning. Stephen's working on the outdoor space, the outdoor kitchen. That's actually the turkeys making all that noise. I'll show you that in a sec. Yeah, so busy afternoon. Now we've got the morning out of the way. Everything in here yet again needs a good scrub up. Now these guys here we got a few weeks ago. I'll have to check exactly how long ago, but they are coming on beautifully. They're the heavy broad-breasted turkeys. So last time we had turkeys we had heritage, and we didn't get heritage turkeys again this time. Purely because, one, they didn't get as big as we anticipated, but that's fine, that wasn't the main reason. The main reason was because they kept ending up on our neighbour's roof. So the heritage ones are a lot lighter, don't get as heavy as these guys, and we found that they just flew pretty much just like other birds. And we can't really have that because when they're outside, which these guys will be going outside very soon, we want them to stay put basically, for their own safety, but as well because obviously it's an investment on our part. Now the noise you could hear is this is one of the horse's rugs and they keep tapping the silver bits on it and it keeps knocking off the stable, so finding their own entertainment. So I'm going to get this cleaned out last, so I'm going to get these moved just in the short term into another stable whilst we get outside ready to receive them, because where they're going at the moment has dropped a bit, so it needs repairing, and obviously Stephen's busy with the outdoor kitchen, so he can't be doing that just at the moment. Well, there you go. This is just recycled bird stuff. This is as clean as it's going to get for now. And Stephen's been in and just helped remove this huge pallet, which was still in this stable from when we had the sheep in. So I'm, as you can see, just in the middle of finishing this off. So there's a couple of tubs there that can go in the tack room, and there's a couple of piles in each corner that needs cleaning out. This will then be ready once I've decobwebbed it to get the horses bedding in, and that'll be ready for horse number 1 or for the pony. And then these guys are actually going to go outside today. I've just been over to see Stephen and see what he wants to do, and we're going to sort out the outdoor accommodation for them. Yes, we are. What that means is then I can get the straw out of there and get that stable ready for Lydia coming in, and just keep an eye on the weather, and then when we're ready we can get those guys in, and that'll be the start of the winter routine for the horses. Try and put it off as long as we can really, because it's nicer for them to be outside for the most part, but obviously as the weather turns I'm sure they would much prefer to be in, but then it's more difficult for us because we end up as the darker nights come and we have to turn them out so they can at least get some exercise, because we don't ride them anymore. So Lydia's retired and Sonic is retired now actually, so they're both getting on, so we don't ride anymore, so their exercise is being turned out in the car park rather than the field at the worst of the weather. So it's just a bit extra work, but That's fine, absolutely fine. So I'm going to get busy. Grace has tried catching those chickens, not Cat and Hal's chance. We don't know where the net's gone actually, so if we can find the net, the chicken net, we might be able to catch them. But they're super fast, and she wasn't able to catch them today. So we're going to get the turkeys moved though, so I'm just waiting for her to come out and give me a hand. Need to get some more straw in where they're going to go, and I'll show you what that looks like next. Well, we did it, we've walked them around. We didn't carry them, they're getting really too big to carry, and it might damage them as well as us when they're flat. So I've just come to get my phone. I'll show you what they look like and the little house that we've done for them. We're out already, so we literally walk them around the path that we walk along, through the ducks, around here. Make sure I don't slip while I'm doing this. And this is the ramshackle house. So the roof's unfortunately broken. This used to be the Brahma's coop, and we've just filled it with nice fresh straw. And this, Stephen will have to take this off at some point, but it's safe enough for now. And then we've just put the feeder underneath, but it's not going to rain for a while, so they should be okay. So this is the first time these guys have been outside. So we've only got 6, and they're all just for us here on the Smallholding. There's a little goat through there as well. But look at them, they're so excited. Wait till I get on the grass. It's so nice to see. So they've been in a barn a little bit just to get used to the area and to the place, and just so we can see what they're like and see if they fly and things like that. One of them does. There's always one. Anyway, so they're going to range here, free range here in this paddock every day along with the chickens. And for now I'm just going to keep an eye on them, make sure that they're okay, make sure they don't get up to too much mischief and disappear or anything like that. And then tonight we'll come down. I did lock them in that in the coop while we were bringing one escaped. So while we went to get the spare one, I did lock them in there so they know they can go in there, and hopefully they'll go back in tonight. Otherwise we'll just have to walk them in. Grace isn't here tonight, so that'll be fun because I'll be doing that with just Stephen and I. Grace is normally the speedy one, but Jack's actually injured his ankle, so he can't help. So it's probably not the best day to do this now I think about it, but never get done otherwise. We're checking the goats out. And the goats are checking them out. So I'll keep an eye on them, but for now I'm going to go close the stables up that I've done, and then there's just that one that they were in that needs cleaning out as well. And then we can put the bedding down for the horses at any point. So the horses are just in the field somewhere. That's at the moment. And it is due to be nice for a few days now. So I'm hoping it dries up and that they can stay out just that little bit longer. But I want everything to be ready for them for when we decide to bring them in. So that's me for the next few hours. We'll take a look how Steve's got on today. Had some help this morning. Someone who knows someone came and gave us some advice. Did a little bit of work with us, but couldn't do too much because he's actually off work with a heart condition, this chap. So he was kind of pointing and telling Stephen what to do, and Stephen was doing it. But he's getting there. See that little minx? He's stealing all of my hazelnuts. And he's away. Oh, there's the chicken out. This is the problem. Honestly, I wish he'd just stay put. It's actually nice for me to watch it back too, to see what happened. It just feels like yesterday that I did that, but it was like literally about 5 weeks ago. So we are in the second week of November now, I think it was. It was Stephen's birthday, just gone on the 8th of November, and it's the weekend just after that. So I thought I'd pick the camera up, show you what's changed, and just have a little catch up. So a lot has changed since we were last talking. Obviously we got the turkeys, they are now absolutely ginormous. I couldn't believe the difference when I looked back at the video. And unfortunately we are back in lockdown here in the UK. Avian flu is doing the rounds again, which it seems to be every single winter, meaning that we've got to get creative about where we keep our birds. So this is just one example. So this is the polytunnel that had the last of the tomatoes in. But what I'll get into in just a moment is show you around. I'm outside in the veg plot because I haven't been out here for literally weeks. This is the first weekend that I've had where I can do anything normal. We've been loaded with visitors and all of that good stuff after Stephen's recovery started, and people want to come and, you know, pay the good wishes to him and all of that. Fantastic, but it does mean that I haven't even wanted to get outside, to be honest. but this behind me is just an absolute, it's so unloved. There's so much that needs doing, and I have to be quite honest with you, it is very overwhelming at the minute. And if I didn't come out today, maybe I wouldn't have got out till spring. So I thought, let's go out, let's have a look around together and just get started really. I'm not going to try and, you know, make any miracles happen or anything like that. I just want to see what's going on. I need to get the garlic and the onions in the ground because I haven't done that, so if I can focus on just doing that, and I need to empty our manure beds, which will also go into the vegetable beds, which will help with the garlic and onions, because we need to make space for this lot of winter's muck that the horses are going to be producing. So lots has changed. The birds are inside. As I say, this was full of the end of the tomatoes that I just didn't get to, and that's fine because the birds are enjoying them, and we're coming in here every day, feeding them, checking on them, clearing some space. They've got straw at the back, but they're absolutely loving these beds here because they're just dust bathing in them all the time, and I guess it's just free fertiliser for next year for me. So I've got the kids helping in the distance over there somewhere. Grace is actually getting all of the windfall apples that we haven't got to just yet. So what happened there, the sheep have been on that garden, the big, oops, sorry, wobbly. The sheep have been on what we call the big garden, which is the one where Grace is working, that you can see in the background there, just in between us and the field. And sorry, left-handed isn't always as stable. Oh wow, look, wow. Oh, hello, I did not expect that. I thought this plant was just not going to produce this year. Maybe they're just really late brambles. Oh, that's good. I'm going to keep that and take that in along with the others. Anyway, sorry, what was I saying? Easily distracted. I'm pleased about that. Okay, positive start. So Grace is getting the last of the windfall apples from the crabapple tree, which isn't in the what we call the little orchard. It's just on the big garden, so that's been there from, you know, forever. When we look back at historic photos, it's been there, and half of it's actually dead, but it produces fantastically on the other half every year. So any advice on that would be most welcome. Should we touch it? Should we leave it? Because we haven't touched that one. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get to is the reason that she's getting all of the windfalls is not just to use them, but because we let the sheep in there the other day. They're in the field that the horses were in at the moment, which isn't ideal because I want to let that field rest. But then all this happened, and I went out one morning, let the sheep into the big garden, and one of them ate a whole apple, didn't even chew it, swallowed it and started choking. Well, I've never seen a sheep choke before. I don't want to see it happen again. Grace noticed, we went running over, you could feel it in her throat, goodness me. Anyway, needless to say, thank goodness she's still alive. We managed to clear it. Awful, frothing at the mouth, all of that stuff. So it's like, get the sheep off the garden, they're not staying on here. So we did, and they've been in the field ever since, which, as I say, not ideal, but it was fine just while we went through everything. So today, Grace is clearing all of those apples so we can get the sheep back onto the garden, and hopefully they won't be eating any more whole apples. We had noticed that they'd been eating them, to be honest, and they were enjoying them, so I just said, well, you know, let them have them. They don't seem to be putting them in any discomfort. They weren't gorging on them or anything, but yeah, that happened. So that they're going to go on there this afternoon, and we're then also going to look at bringing them in over the winter. Don't know when Stephen's going to be able to be fit and well enough to prepare the barn for them to come in for the winter, so we're just doing that as a temporary measure to get them on the big garden there. Obviously all the birds aren't outside anymore, so we don't have that to worry about. We've got them undercover. Some are in the veg plot, which if you saw last time, we've got an undercover place over there. Some are in the polytunnel, some are locked away in the big shed. Not a nice situation, but it is where it is. So I'm out here now, and Grace has taken on all those other tasks for me so I can stop procrastinating and start getting on with what I'm looking at here, and it is just a whole host of weeds and stuff like that, but we've got brambles, so I'm pleased. Let's have a look. Just really quickly then, this bed here was where I had the spinach, the beetroot, 3 rows of beetroot, and then we did some kale plants. So the nasturtiums have took over here, as have the weeds. That shouldn't take too long to clear. I can probably do that with a horse, so that's not too bad. The pineapple sage is starting to come into flower. This actually flowers the most beautiful red colour. I'll show you that when it's out in the next couple of weeks. And then essentially over here, strawberry runners have gone crazy. This bed was supposed to be empty, but there's a line of strawberries down here, so we'll try and take some of those runners off. Not all today, this is just, we'll just have to see how it goes over the next few days. Potatoes that just were harvested on the day that it happened got left, so they're all going to have to go on the compost heap. I'm not bothered about volunteer potatoes, that's, as I've said before. We'll just have to clear this bed. These are weeds here, Oh, there's Grace has brought the apples. We're going to give these ones to the chickens because we've actually got plenty there. So good job. Are they all gone now?
Yep.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Grace. So yes, as I was saying, weeds here. These will need to come out. It is all weeds there. This bed has literally only got, I think there's 2 rows of potatoes left in there. So we'll try and get those out today actually, because that's nice and a job that I can handle. The rest of the weeds, I can't even remember what's in this bed. I thought I'd taken all of the comfrey out, but clearly not. Oh, there was carrots in here. Maybe turnip as well. Lots of leaves, but not much going on down below. And then, oh, we have chamomile. And there were some borlotti beans, but they're gone. Okay, so this all is just going to get ripped out basically. Comfrey can go on the compost because we've actually replanted it, and we'll see what carrots are in there, if there's anything worth rescuing. If not, this bed can just get covered up. And then we had a load of apples from in the orchard, so I'm not going to show you those now because they're just empty apple trees basically, but they were really good, very pleased with them. And we had a few almonds actually, but you can see them left. Let's go and have a look together. Actually, they were doing really well, the almonds, and then, you know, it didn't happen. So there's some husks on the floor. Oh, we would have got them as well, look. That's an almond. No good now. But we'll have a look. Let me show you what I'm looking at. They're all almonds left on the tree. Probably no good, but there might be the odd one we can rescue. That's such a shame. Didn't know there was that many. Never mind, it is what it is. Fit and healthy is all that matters. The rhubarb's obviously all died down now, so we can clear that and we can get some mulch on. Oh my goodness, the mint has taken over. This is apple mint. Let's harvest that. Rosemary. Nasturtiums have just sprang back to life, as has the borage. Like, what's this all about? That was done with. I'm going to harvest bay leaves for the winter, and yeah, just essentially start walking around and having a look at everything. I'm not going to get all of this done today. These are the autumn raspberries that I knew these guys would be here, always ever faithful. So I'll get a few of those. We can have some of those for breakfast or just for treats. This is the crazy kale plant, but there's just so much to do, so I'm not going to let it overwhelm me because what's the point? We'll get there, won't we? It's going to be a long winter, so we've got plenty of time to get this done. But I do need to get the garlic and onions in, as I said, and then I can work on thinking about tidying everything else up, because at the moment it's not going anywhere, that's for sure. I think what I'll do is put the garlic and onions in this bed here with the strawberries, and in that bed when we empty the potatoes, just because they're going to be the 2 accessible ones, because this one here has got stuff in it that can stain, and that'll get tidied up and look nice. So I think that's what we'll do. Yeah, as I say, it can get a little bit overwhelming when you haven't been staying on top of things, but we'll get there, so I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know how I get on by the end of today. Time while I'm working on this, Stephen's got both of our fathers over, so they're helping with where he left off the day of the accident with the roof. Stephen's supposed to be mostly in a supervisory role, but because he's starting to be a bit more fit and able, he's really struggling with that. I'm just leaving him to it because I just can't watch, basically. So they are fixing up, getting it waterproof and getting the tiles on, so we'll be able to see what it actually looks like. And that's part of the reason I'm going to be working over here as well, just to stay out of the way. My heart can't take it anymore. And also in the greenhouse, actually, there's one more thing I want to show you. Oh, and look at this. Hello girls, are you out for a walk? Are you out for your airtime? Hi. They've come in now and they don't want to go. Come on, Grace. So where I was going before I got distracted by goats, I don't know if I told you that I bought some, so Thompson & Morgan had an offer on for some potted plants, vegetable plants, plug plants, couldn't think what they were called then, in like, you know, just in the small pots, not the really small ones. And there was a bit of a, it was for like £5 delivered on the website, and I thought that doesn't sound right. Anyway, needless to say, I got some before all this happened. They got delivered, and the day that all this was happening, when I was planning on coming outside all day, I was supposed to be taking care of these. These poor things have been sat here fending for themselves. I have to say, they've done a lot better than I thought, but just take a look at this. Excuse the rubbish in the background, that's waiting to be burned. So we have kale plants, spinach plants, Swiss chard, more spinach. They're just basically brassicas, but you can see this is so soft and flimsy, desperate for water. So that's going to be my very first job. Give them a water. I'm not going to transplant them immediately. I'll do it today, but I want to give them a good water first. But goodness me, the poor things. All I managed to do was rip the covers off them so they didn't just fry in the sun, and just leave them. So they have genuinely been fending for themselves. I think it might be a bit late for this one, but we'll get something, so that's good. I'm going to bring them back to life, and then I'm going to do the onions and the garlic. Garlic is what's waiting to go in. Actually, it's a variety called Music. I've never grown it before, but I've heard it on international videos really. And this is also, what's this one called? This one is Germador. So I've got 4 bulbs of Germador because they were really big and lovely, and I thought I'll get those in. And I've got a load of my own garlic that we saved from seed from this year's harvest. So I'll be getting those in. And the onions I've got are actually in the house at the moment. They're just seed sets from Wilco's. I will be putting seeds in as well. I missed the first boat to get the seeds in August, but I'll be doing it at kind of the traditional time near Christmas, Boxing Day, those things, those kind of dates. But we'll see. If you know, we'll get something, I'm sure. Whether or not the giant bulbs or not, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, those are the garlic that I've got. They're already starting to sprout. These guys want to grow. Whoops, why aren't they in the ground? I don't know if you can see on there. I've just dropped one, so I'm going to pick that up. So yeah, a busy day. You can probably tell I'm a little bit all over the place still, trying to figure stuff out. It's really messy around here at the moment, which doesn't sit well with me either, but you know, it is what it is. We'll get there. I've had other priorities, so we'll do this together. This is a different video to obviously what I've been doing on the trying to do on the challenge. I thought I'd still try and get a few small holding related ones out and let you guys know how it's going on there. I'm going to stop talking now, get these plants watered, and start working on those beds. I wanted to show you this while I was in the greenhouse. This here is a tomato plant that I watered resting in its bucket, but resting on this compost on like my seed bed, and it's obviously just been left to its own devices. I kept on watering it, and look at the state of these roots, or not the state, but how amazing they are, should I say. They literally have just fended for themselves. I've got better tomatoes off this plant than off the ones I was trying to look after. So this has just taken over all of this space down here, took all of the roots. So it just shows you, left to their own devices, they can still do really well as well. In fact, better than the ones that I tried to look after. So I'll be doing something with the green tomatoes. We will see what that turns out to be. I've got another one that's on the floor here, which I knew about obviously, that was just a seed that must have landed on the floor and it's took off, but there's no fruit on that. It came on really late in the season. But these tomatoes here, so this plant is a country taste. It's a big beefsteak, and I'll definitely be growing that next year. The ones in the buckets or in the plant pots last year didn't do as well. And again, I think that's because they just didn't have consistent water. So I'm going to try and figure out how I can sort that out for next year. But for now, country taste is back on the tomato list, definitely. Well, it's about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and it's been getting dark around 4:30 now, but it's been such a beautiful bright day that it might be a little bit longer before it gets dark today, so fingers crossed. Now, in the greenhouse, I've taken out the tomato plants that I showed you. Those green tomatoes can come in. I've also harvested some parsnips, and I've also harvested I've just heard a chicken. Of course I heard a chicken, they're there. Oh my goodness. I'm not used to them being there yet, as you can tell. It only came into force on the 7th of November. Anyway, what I was trying to tell you, I'd say it's been a long day, but like I say, it's not even the end of the day yet. So, my back will not let me do anymore. We have got so many potatoes that out of this bed. I thought there was just a few left, but it turns out there was quite a few. So they're all ready. Grace has offered, well, she hasn't offered, I've asked and she said yes, bless her, to come in and pick them all up for me. I'm just struggling a little bit with energy and aches and pains at the moment. I think because we spent so long just for Stephen recovering, which meant I wasn't mobilised very much and doing anything in terms of moving around and things like that. And I think that's what's really, I just seem to be struggling from it, but I'm also just tired. Anyway, you don't need my health story as well. Grace is going to pick those potatoes up for me in the morning. I said she doesn't need to do it today, they'll be perfectly all right until the morning. And that bed is going to be the one that I get the onions in tomorrow. I'm undecided about the garlic, because I think I might put it in one of the skinny beds over at the far side, but I'll have a think about that tonight. We'll see. Oh, the parsnips that I was telling you about, they're here, look. So there's some really skinny ones, there's some much better sized ones. I'm quite pleased with them, really. You could ideally wait until the first frost, and you know they're supposed to be sweeter after the frost and all that, but they're in this bin and they're in this bin, and I've got plans for these bins which involves the plants in the greenhouse that you've seen there. I think I'm going to try and grow stuff in the greenhouse over winter, but we shall see. Anyway, so that is those 3 tubs empty now, and as I say, I might move them into the greenhouse maybe tomorrow. We'll see how we get on. But that bed over there with the potatoes in is now pretty much ready. I just need to compost the rest of the weeds for the onions tomorrow. This will hoe really quickly, and I'll just pull out the strawberry runners as well, and if there's too many onions for that bed, they can go in this bed too. We'll see. I can hear you still. Oh, I know. You want to come out? I'm sorry. Anyway, let me take the opportunity. Stephen has just nipped out. He can drive now. He could always drive, but physically he's able to drive now. So let me take the opportunity just to quickly show you how he's getting on with the much needed help, goodness me, much needed help of my dad and his dad. Oh. So I did say to him, look, leave it until the spring, don't touch the outdoor space, the cabin as I'm calling it now, on Nemesis, name of the, I think that's going to be the pub sign that's going up. But have a look, this is how they've got on today. So it's been a while since you've seen this. The inside's looking a lot darker because obviously we've got the roof on now. And this is where Stephen, just where that block is, that's where he had his accident. But anyway, all good at the moment. So we're getting there. It's all sealed inside, watertight, and the tiles are going on. You can see underneath. So it's going to be really nice when it's done. We think we're going to have some sort of fire heating, something or other over there. We thought it might have gone there originally. We're just still not sure, but this is going to get cut out so that it's going to be the bar space. There'll be stools here, so you can go into there. And then in here, it's a mess. But in here, this will become, so these 2 windows will be gone. That's obviously our store cold room. These 2 windows will be gone. That'll be a bar going out, and this will all be kind of a kitchen, cooking, bar, preparing, canning, preserving, all of that kind of area. So we're going to be making this out of pallets and countertops that we can find, things like that. But I'm really excited as to how it's going to turn out. But for now, at least they've got today done nice and safely. And that roof's looking very clean. Thank you for being with me again today, and let's get back into some normal videos again. Take care, see you later.